Naruto, 10 Weakest Ninja the Heroes Lost to. The heroes of Naruto have lost battles to the likes of Orochimaru Pain. But not all of their opponents were that powerful. The Naruto universe is defined by its exciting and adrenaline-inducing battles. Most of the time, it's correctly presumed that the heroes will emerge victorious, as they have a narrative propensity to do so and because they are less likely to kill than the villains. Therefore keeping as many individuals circulating in the plot as possible. However, this is not always the case. In fact, the heroes have sometimes even lost to shinobi that aren't even remotely powerful. By analyzing the weakest ninja the forces of good have faltered against, we can determine their most disgraceful defeats. 10. Dosu defeated Choji in an instance in their Chunin exam match. Choji's battle against Dosu closed the preliminary round of the tournament. It was also its shortest fight. Even Orochimaru's fodder henchmen who fought Kankuro and Sasuke had lasted long. The expanding ninja had erroneously presumed that by plugging his ears, he would become immune to his opponent's sound-based attacks. However, after his human boulder had crashed into the wall, he realized that Dosu's greatest strength was not specifically noise, it was the vibrations he could punish his opponents with. 9. Team Dosu had the numbers against Lee in the Forest of Death. Rock Lee's battle against Team Dosu was another unfortunate loss for the heroes. Though he had managed to pummel its leader and prepared to finish him with his hidden lotus technique, Zaku softened the ground moments before impact. This provided Dosu with a comfortable pillow to land on while simultaneously exhausting Rock Lee's body. After his costly maneuver, the villainous shinobi trio gleefully abused their taijutsu opponent. If not for Sasuke's unlikely intervention, he may have even perished in the Forest of Death. Curiously, Sakura would object to her love interest's methods regardless of what the evildoers were able to inflict upon her. 8. Haku had Sasuke Naruto trapped in his deadly ice mirrors. Haku's ice mirrors were a vexing obstacle that Naruto and Sasuke struggled to overcome. It culminated with the young Uchiha's memorable sacrifice on Naruto's behalf, preventing an attack that would have otherwise killed him. However, they spent almost the entire fight on the defensive and were never able to meaningfully harm their opponent. Instead, the villain would sacrifice himself of his own volition to protect his master, Zabuza. Team 7's inability to overcome him through their own merits was an unspoken albeit extremely important detail of their first perilous mission. 7. Sakan Yukon would have destroyed Kiba if Kankuro hadn't stepped in. Despite their limited ability, Sakan and Yukon were perfect counters to Kiba. Since he was primarily a melee fighter, they capitalized on their proximity to him, using one brother to infiltrate his body and slowly overtake it from the inside. His Fang over Fang technique was rendered useless through the great gates they erected in order to defend themselves. The Hound Ninja's life was only spared on account of Kankuro's timely intervention. He expediently trapped them within his puppet show jutsu and mutilated their bodies, without the San's assistance. However, Kiba would have been powerless to resist on account of his injuries and exhaustion. 6. Taiyuya wore down Shikamaru until Temari arrived. Shikamaru faced similar trouble in the Sasuke retrieval mission during his bid to defeat Taiyuya. As formidable as his shadow jutsu might have been, he was forced to contend with 3 giants and a woman whose range surpassed his own. With the trees he was forced to dance between, it was almost impossible for his possession to find its target. Providentially, Temari entered the fray on his behalf, saving his life in the process. Without her assistance, he would have had no means to overcome her advantages in strength and terrain. 5. Temari made short work of Tenten in their Chunin exam match. As useful as Temari may have been in saving Shikamaru's life, she was not always a hero. Once serving the Sand's plot to overtake the Leaf and by proxy, Orochimaru, her first battle against Tenten yielded nearly fatal results and was decisively one-sided. A single sweep of her fan scattered the arsenal that her kunoichi foe had carefully packed into her scrolls to challenge her. The sister of the Sand Village would take great pride in humiliating Tenten before she was declared the winner of the brief and brutal match. 4. Haiden took Asuma's life with his unique abilities. Haiden is regarded by many to be one of the weakest members of the Akatsuki, and with good reason. While his immortal body may give him prodigious advantages in enduring fatal attacks, he possesses nearly no offensive jutsu by which to accommodate it. Instead, he must manually draw the blood of his opponent, enter a ritual circle, and stab himself, all without being knocked away from it by his foes. Miraculously, he was able to accomplish this and slay Asuma, one of the Leaf's most seasoned sensei. This would set Shikamaru on a path of revenge and provide a significant opportunity for character growth. 3. Baki killed Hayate Gecko to protect their secret plan. Baki was introduced as a villain arguably worse than any of the Sand siblings considering he was fully aware of what he intended to participate in. After Hayate overheard his conspiracy with Kabuto, he dutifully confronted the proctor and assassinated him in the middle of the night. It was a rare demonstration of the man's wind blade technique. An attack unable to be blocked and as devastating as a slice of any physical blade. He would have few opportunities to use it again throughout the rest of the story. 2. Kabuto survived a Rasengan from Naruto. Though Kabuto may have been a formidable opponent in Shippuden, he was only moderately impressive in the original series. Despite Naruto's barely harnessed power and resilience, he was able to defeat him, surviving a point-blank Rasengan to the chest. He accomplished this by casting a healing jutsu on his body before the attack actually connected. Therefore, once their exchange had been concluded, he wouldn't need the strength to mend his wounds, they were already correct. 1. The Sound 4 beat up Sasuke to prove he wasn't strong enough. Orochimaru sent the Sound 4 after Sasuke but specifically ordered that they can't kill him or even capture him. Their purpose was simple, by beating him to a pulp, they were to illustrate how weak the young Uchiha was in his current form. Ultimately, the fallen Sanin's plan would be executed perfectly. Realizing how unprepared he was to confront Itachi as things were, Sasuke agreed to join them, abandoning the Leaf and beginning Naruto's long and arduous quest to redeem him. Ironically, though this skirmish was considered a footnote by many of the series' fans, it was arguably one of the original anime's most important and plot-defining fights.